So the little short time-lapse video that I put up for you is actually about probably a solid 45 minutes of work. But I wanted to point out some things because clearly I'm not done and I have a ways to go. But I wanted to point out techniques that I used in the painting. So you can see that my bugs are starting to take shape. Again, I'm not super focused on getting it 100% accurate just yet, right? I'm looking more for the basic colors to lay down something to work from. So I'm going with the greens and yellows, adding in the little bit of pink. I didn't use any black in this. So everything that you see here is actually complementary colors mixed. So my red and greens are mixed together to make these dark areas here. You'll find that if you use your complementary colors instead of black, your color will be richer and it'll look more realistic. Black tends to be flat, and so it doesn't have a lot of depth to it. So always use your complements instead of black. And it's very obvious to look at a painting that has used just black instead of the complements. So I was mixing here to make these dark areas, the red and green with a little bit of blue in it. And then I'm using dry brush techniques along with wet and wet in order to make those colors blend. So a lot of what you saw was wet on wet, where I kind of had some watered down paint and added some other wet paint into it to blend it. And then I went back with the dry brush technique. Dry brush works a little bit better if I let this dry and then come back to build up that color. I also used a bit of scumbling here. So if you look on this portion here, I was starting to build up the scumbling here and here. And remember, that's kind of that rough dabbing with my dry brush. So that'll give me some of those textures too. So I just wanted to point those out. As I proceed and as I do more, I'll do time lapse so you can see those. And then remember, you should be referencing your photo. So I'm constantly going back and forth and looking at my painting and my photo to see how I'm matching in terms of the colors and making sure that I'm staying within the bounds of my grid so that those will look realistic. Notice I didn't put in any highlights yet. That's something I'll do towards the end. So I'm going to build up that color and I'm going to layer those colors to get what I need in terms of the textures and the value, right? So happy painting. I'm excited to see yours, and please send me photos as you progress.